For those of you who don't know me, my name is Riley Purcell, and I'm one of the lucky ones of Laura's cousins on the Purcell side of the family. It feels very surreal to be up here right now. This is normally something I'd actually have Laura help me with. But it's gonna be hard, but I know she'd be really proud of me for being up here today. When I began to think about what I was gonna say today, I was really at a loss for words. How could I ever describe one of the greatest role models in my life in just a few minutes? So in true Laura fashion, I did a little research, and I found a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg and immediately thought of her. Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. And as I stand here, looking at all the people who she impacted throughout her life, I knew she led in a way that sparked something in all of us. I have had the unique pleasure of having Laura in my life from the very beginning. Although I was the second youngest of the 8 first cousins, and we had a 17-year age gap, she always made an effort to include me in her life. She babysat me when I was a child, which to anybody who knew me during that time knows that was not easy. She asked me to be the flower girl in her wedding to Billy. I traveled with her, all her kids, my brother, my dad, and our 2 dogs, from Tahoe to Denver in one teeny tiny small RV. We even went shopping for purses during one of her breaks from the courthouse. Sorry about that one, Billy. Whenever I was with her, it felt like everything was right in the world. She made every moment fun and full of life. I would be so excited for her to text or call me whenever she was in town, because I knew it would only mean something special. Now, I wasn't the only one that Laura had an impact on. Any chance she would go out of the way for her family. We went on our cross-country RV trip. She gave up her bedroom so my brother and dad could sleep in an actual bed. We then called that room the Santa Bambino Suite for the remainder of the trip. She taught Lindsay the Macarena and then made her perform it in the streets of Santa Rosa with all the neighbors. She stood next to Christina as her maid of honor as she married Doug. She somehow convinced Mark to host Zoom sing-alongs during the peak of the pandemic in 2020 so we could all stay connected during that time. Laura also let Brian believe that he was number 1 out of all the cousins just because he was the firstborn. But we all knew that Laura really truly was the number 1 cousin. And of course, she was the loving, overprotective big sister for Michael. Even in her last days, she made the effort to fly to Petaluma so she could hold Grandma Lena's hands as she passed away. She then stayed for an entire week to make sure Patty, Kathy, and Bill had the emotional and moral support they needed during that time. Laura always put family first, fighting for all of us and fighting to find time for all of us to get together. I feel very blessed to have spent her last weekend with her. Although the Purcell side was gathering to celebrate Grandma Lena's life, the important thing is that we were all together. And that's what Laura wanted and loved. We all showed up, and she was so happy about that. On my last day with her, I saw her truly be the best mom to her kids. It was a beautiful day in San Francisco, and my siblings, Laura and Billy, and the twin boys went to a brand new park that overlooked the Golden Gate Bridge. And she really was the best mom. We laughed, we played, we colored, and more importantly, just enjoyed being together. It brings tears to my eyes when I recall our last conversation and moment I had with her. Right before she left my house that Saturday, I snuck Elle upstairs and let her try on the flower girl dress that I wore during Laura and Billy's wedding. Of course, it fit Elle like a glove. Wait, I lost my spot here. Of course, it fit Elle like a glove, and that day just happened to be Billy and Laura's 17-year anniversary. When she came downstairs, Laura's face just lit up, and it is literally the biggest smile I've ever seen on somebody's face. When we were saying goodbye, she hugged me and told me how much she loved me and how happy she was to have me in her life, and how proud she was of me, of the person I was becoming. It's a moment I will never forget, because all I ever wanted to be growing up was like her. Thank you.